Coming up in today's episode, this is a preposterous way to demonstrate this. So I thought I'd check out IKEA's future blind. Seriously, how is that supposed to be pronounced? And I'm going to be really careful here because when I said that tradfry was a stupid word, I upset a lot of people. It turns out it is a real word and the Swedish are very proud of their language. So I'm taking no chances this time.
Förtur. 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 Förtur.
I'm still not risking it. That's a stupid word! So I'm browsing through IKEA's websites and I'm looking through the reviews of this blind, and then I suddenly remembered, I hate IKEA. And I don't hate the company or the furniture, I hate their smart home equipment. Me. Quick story, I promise it's quick, and then we'll get on with it, because I know there are new people here going, this guy goes on a bit. That hub, I had been trying to connect through the router to their app for 2 hours by that point, and their app's going, what? I can't see a hub. It's right there! I just punched it 2 seconds ago! And when I finally got it working, and I couldn't tell you to this day how, when I finally got the app to recognize the hub, I tried to add the bulb, and the bulb went, what hub? But the thing is, right, IKEA's stuff is mega cheap, and it works with other people's hubs. So it works with SmartThings, for example, it works with Habitats, and it works with a couple of others, which makes it a really good option if you're headed down the Zigbee route. But what if you wanted to do things completely on the cheap without needing a hub at all? Well, that's what this is. I got sent an RF-based blind motor by a company called Zemismart about a year or two ago, and what you did with this blind motor was you took your existing blind down, and then you pushed this motor into the... What are you laughing at? There's nothing dirty about this. And you pushed your blind motor into your existing tube, and the blind motor would wind the tube up and down using a remote. This is a Wi-Fi motor, and the Wi-Fi motor connects to a company called Tuya. Their Smart Life service and their Smart Life app works with she that should not be named, Google Home, and if this then that, flawlessly. But because it's Wi-Fi, the signal strength is much better, and if you don't have a great signal in the room you're in, you just add a Wi-Fi repeater. So the only other problem with this solution, apart from the signal, was the fact it was very DIY. You kind of find that you would try and get the motor in a tube and find it didn't fit your tube, so you'd have to go and source a different tube and then wind your blind onto the new tube, which involved peeling the glue off, and I did all this. It wasn't really that big a deal, probably took 25 frustrating minutes, but it was done in the end. So Zemismart have gone a step further now. They've said you can either buy the motor on its own, which is obviously the cheapest way of doing it and costs that much money, so cheap to be able to motorize your blinds, or they will send you a fully constructed blind with the motor already ready to rock. This is great. It's a really decent quality blind. It blocks out the sun, it does everything it is supposed to do, and you've got 3 colors to choose from. The nice plain one that I've got has not irritated my partner at all, so I have won. The situation is good. Everything is fine. What? A UK plug? I never get UK plugs. They're always Chinese or American. So this was a godsend. Or at least it would have been if the cable wasn't only 5 feet long. Zemismart, for the love of God! I live in Britain. No person in the history of the British Isles has ever had a plug socket installed 5 feet away from the top of a window. I was so mad. I had to cut the plug off. I had to go to B&Q, buy some flex and some little couple of joiny things and join it all back together again. And guess what? The little terminal blocks don't quite fit in my trunking, do they? But only by a gnat's wing, which means I spent 20 minutes trying to force the cover on before I gave up and punched it. I didn't punch it. I've learnt my lesson. So that's it. It's a pain in the butts, but I mean, it's going to take you probably 20 minutes in all honesty, because you're probably not an idiot. The software is made by a company called Tuya, and it's called Smart Life. You probably already have it installed, because if you've ever bought any kind of a light bulb or an LED strip or a camera or a motion detector from China and it's Wi-Fi based, they probably use this software. Tuya licensed their software to all sorts of manufacturers, and that is why it is so reliable, so stable, and not likely to die anytime soon, because this is an absolute giant in China. The Tuya app, Smart Life, is one of my all-time favourites because it's got really good routine-based stuff in it, and it connects you to She That She Not Be Named, Google Home, and If This Then That seamlessly. Every command you issue is carried out instantaneously. This is a really, really good platform. And so the setup process really was as simple as I put the blind up, I plugged it in, opened the app up, scanned for devices. That was it. It was done. As soon as I named it, She That She Not Be Named went, ha, there's a blind. That's it. That's all you have to do. Tuya Smart Life, because your life should be smart. That's not their slogan. I just made that up. Why not just buy the IKEA blind? I can see at least one person in the comments section going, wait a minute! That's not that much cheaper than the IKEA blind! And it isn't. If you buy both the motor and the blind from Zemismart, it isn't that big of a saving. Unless, of course, you don't already have a Zigbee hub. The Zigbee hub is going to cost you a lot of money if you're going at this from a brand new perspective. If you've never done this before, this is your cheapest option. If you want to go down the Zigbee routes, or you already have a SmartThings hub, buy the IKEA blind. That is the correct decision, because you want to try and keep all of your stuff within one application. If you already own the IKEA hub, put it in the bin, because it's garbage. But if you really want to keep with the whole IKEA thing, maybe it's worked fine for you, I don't care. If it's worked fine for you, the IKEA blind is the correct option. If, however, you're starting from scratch, buy that thing. I think then, to summarise, this is a very cheap option. It doesn't require a hub if you're a hubless kind of guy. It works with She That She Not Be Named, Google Home, If This Then That. It's got routines. And if you're not buying the whole package, if you just buy the motor on its own, this is incredible. This is an absolutely awesome price tag. The only thing I've not mentioned so far is the volume of the thing. Very quiet. Let me demonstrate. I've been thinking about this, and there's only really one way to demonstrate the audible volume of this thing, and that's to give you something to compare it to. So, I'm going to talk quietly whilst it lowers.
Alexa,
close the blind.
Okay.
This is me talking very quietly. If you can hear the blind above my voice, that's about the volume that it is. This is pretty weird. This is a preposterous way to demonstrate this. Did that work? Has that given you an indication as to how loud that blind is? That's it. That's it. That's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. That will tell YouTube's algorithms it was a good video. More people should see it. If you want to see some more of this guy, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. If you ding the bell, it will tell you when I upload videos. These amazing people here are my patrons from Patreon. I can't thank them enough. Seriously, everything that I buy that makes this channel happen is thanks to these guys. If you want to be one of those guys, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I'll love you forever. Come and hang out with me on social media and it will make you laugh there, I promise. See you next time. It had forgotten everything, and I started again and it was going, nope. Can't say, oh, just, no, no, no IKEA, no. It's no wonder, so I keep getting asked by assholes, are you drunk when you film your videos? I'm not, I'm just a happy person. Don't be an idiot. So, what could we do instead? I don't know what this section's about anymore, I'm lost. Wait a minute, That's not much cheaper. Cheaper. They do talk a bit like that.